normal childhood turned into a complete nightmare, really, for you at the age of 13 when this hair started to appear. And, you know, teenage years are tough enough. So how did that feel?
It was terrifying. I really didn't know how to handle it or how to even talk about it. It wasn't, you know, at all what I was expecting to happen to my body, and I was very aware, even at that age, you know, society's expectations to be a hairless young woman, and so it felt overwhelming to try to be this person that I wasn't.
Yeah, and your mum, I know, that spotted it straight away, so it wasn't as if you had to tell her, because she saw that something was going on. Off to the doctors. How long was it before you knew what it was?
I went to the doctor when I was 15, and they knew pretty quickly what it was, thankfully. I know some women who have PCOS have to go through a long process of figuring out what's going on, but they knew pretty quickly. They did a blood test and an ultrasound, and just from, you know, visible symptoms, they were able to diagnose me pretty quickly.
So a relief in one way to get a diagnosis and know that you're not on your own with this, and there's other women suffering from the same condition. But the doctor caused the problem themselves because of the way they reacted towards you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a rather traumatic experience. I was, you know, very sensitive and insecure teenager, but I think the doctor also just had never really seen a case of hirsutism, which is the excessive hair. They had never really seen such an extreme case of it, and so she kind of made a facial expression that really traumatized me for a long time. It made me really scared to let people see what it was, even medical professionals.
What was school like, Leah?
School was very difficult. So it was junior high school. I was in, you know, 8th grade, 9th grade, when the hair kind of started to spread everywhere. And I was bullied by a group of kids. Thankfully, it was kind of isolated to them, but it was so horrible. Like, I felt so awful about myself that I just felt like I had to avoid anyone noticing. So really, for the rest of my life, for like 15 years, my daily goal was to just get through the day without anyone seeing how hairy I was. And it really took a toll on my mental health, unfortunately.
And then an accident happened, and this changed everything for you. Most people think, well, an accident like this would be the worst thing to happen. But actually, a positive came out of it. So tell us about that.
Yeah, there were so many great things that came out of it, but 2 years ago I was crossing the street and I was hit by a car, and my leg was badly injured. It wasn't something I could just walk away from, even though I wanted to. At that point in my life, I was trying to avoid anything that was uncomfortable, and this was a situation where I just had to deal with it. And so the paramedics came to, you know, look at my body and try to figure out what injuries I had, and they had to cut my clothes off. And that was really the first time in a long time that anyone saw my body for what it was, and they all treated me with respect and kindness, and it really was a big shift for me to think about myself differently.
A very different reaction from a medical professional there. So you, in the past, had to, if you were going to shave completely, it would take up to 4 hours, and then gradually, yes, because of the reaction from those paramedics and that they didn't pull the ridiculous face that the doctor had previously in your life, you began to feel much more confident and comfortable. What sort of effect did that have on you?
It really has changed my life. You know, there's a lot of things that I didn't pursue, or that, you know, the anxiety that I felt about myself and my body, it really held me back. And, you know, being comfortable with myself in every way has drastically changed my life. I'm much closer to my friends and to my family. And, you know, it was really harmful for me to keep this secret and to be so full of shame, and to overcome that has drastically changed my life.
And so, one thing, coming to terms with it yourself, but then through Instagram, you decided that, you know, you wanted to be an example to others and show, you know, the world that there are different types of bodies and that everybody's different and you should embrace it. So when you posted that first picture on Instagram, I mean, that must have still been a scary moment for you.
Yes, it was. It kind of started on my personal Instagram. I just posted, and you know, it really resonated with people. Like, my friends and family were really appreciative of me being so open, but then other women all over the world were finding it and it made me see there's a place for this. Like, this isn't talked about. I feel like it needs to be talked about. I think that the world needs to know that bodies like mine exist. And so that's why I started to post more on Instagram.
Oh, good for you.
You've said, and I love this, courage is contagious. And you were very courageous last summer because you thought, right, that's it. This is the year of the bikini.
Yes, I did wear a bikini for the first time this past summer, first time in my life, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, good for you.
And the whole point, would you ever have thought in the worst possible times of your teenage years, and being bullied and the reactions that you got, the hampering of relationships and all of that sort of stuff, that you would end up being the person that, that would inspire others to feel better about themselves?
I had no idea. I actually have said to a couple of friends before, I wish I could go back in time and tell teenage Leah what's to come, because I definitely never imagined I would be doing this.
Oh, well done, Leah.
Leah, you're an inspiration. It's lovely to speak to you today. Thank you very much.